Muito bom momento, então, senhoras e senhores. Hoje nós teremos aqui uma entrevistada internacional. O nome dela é Jennifer Shahade. Ela é a embaixadora do PokerStars também aqui no Brasil. Ela é jogadora de poker e também uma enxadrista internacional. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Hello,
Good.
everyone.
I was just telling them that you're an ambassador for PokerStars here in Brazil. You're also a chess player and a poker player.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
good.
Love both games so much.
Yeah, I was actually wondering, both games are both mind games and they use a lot of strategy and user mind knowledge. Is there anything that you can take from one sport to another? Like, let's say, take the bluffing game from poker and use it in chess, or take some of the chess strategy, use it on poker. How do you handle these both things?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a lot you can take from both games. I think from chess, poker players can take how to study effectively. Chess players have been working on this for so many years, partly because chess is so popular for young people. So a lot of educators try to figure out, oh, what's the most efficient way to teach people chess? And I think in poker, you can use that same kind of methodology, like not just, oh, let's watch this random video, let's
Mhm.
read this book, but more just like a plan, right? And poker
Mhm.
players lately have really been grasping that. PokerStars has PokerStars School. So I think that that is something they can learn from chess players, as well as the value of deep focus. In chess, you're almost forced to get into a deep focus. It's like the board coaxes you into that state. But actually, it's useful in poker as well, especially if you get heads up or something, one on one, getting that sense of deep focus where everything around you disappears. You can get that practice from chess. As for what you can learn from poker to chess, there's quite a number of things as well. I'd say one thing I've noticed about poker players from chess players, one thing I've noticed from chess players who take up poker is that their approach to chess becomes more practical.
Mm,
So they're thinking more, how do I make it the most likely that I win this game?
I see.
Because that's the kind of philosophy you have in poker, that you're thinking about equity and probability. What is the chances that my opponent has a flush draw? What's the pot? So you're doing that kind of math. And in actuality, in chess, there's actually less math in a pure sense, like
Mhm.
arithmetic, than there is in chess, than there is in poker. But sometimes you do have to think about that. Like a lot of chess players uh, have trouble figuring out what the most critical moments are. But as they realize it, they sometimes forget to save their time for those critical
Mm.
moments. And that's the kind of practical skill that I think poker players bring to the chess table.
I see. And you also have to learn how to read your opponent and try to figure out what's his next move is going to be. Oh my God, it's going to move like, I don't know, a bishop someplace. And then you try to get into his mind. It becomes more like a people's game than just a pawn and king and that kind of thing.
Yeah, generally, poker really helps with the psychology because you're dealing with desire around winning and losing, emotions. And because there's a lot of downtime in poker, there's so much time to process those emotions. So I totally agree. In chess, that emotional experiences you get from poker and the lessons that you pick up, they can be really valuable in thinking, well, what opening is my opponent going to play today? Is she scared because she's leading the tournament and she's afraid of losing that lead? Absolutely, stuff that you see in poker all the time. Somebody wins a huge pot and some players react to that by playing every hand. Others react by trying to lock it up or
Mm.
not playing as many hands so that they can protect a big stack and go to dinner break happy. So yeah, kind of figuring that out in poker and then applying it to chess is absolutely a really difficult skill, but one that
I
could
have
be.
known that. Yes, I wonder. And well, you played a lot of tournaments and everything, and even one of them you came here to Brazil to participate in one in Curitiba, right? Can you tell me a little bit more about this experience? What is it
You
like
know,
for you to come here? What do you think of the country?
I had such a great time. It was an epic experience for me. Actually, it was a small town called Guarapuava, and it was near Curitiba. I remember that we flew from São Paulo to Curitiba, and then we took like a bus to Guarapuava, I believe. And I had the greatest time because, you know, I was 15. It was my first international trip. And, you know, in my country, in Philadelphia, I just feel like, you know, we didn't really have like a culture of going to like dance discos and like, you know, it was very different. And so the fact that like there was rest days and, you know, we would go to like a discotheque and, you know, meet all these different people and dance. Not that I was a very good dancer, but
and listen, if you're loose enough, it's good enough.
I thought this was just like it was an entirely new world, but it also just opened my mind up to the possibility of the new worlds that you can discover through travel. And traveling through games like chess and poker, because it's like not only did I get a chance to go to Brazil and have these experiences, but I also kind of had like a automatic set of friends because we were all chess players.
Yeah, you already have something in common.
Yes. And another thing I remember from it was that it made me really want to learn Spanish, because I guess Spanish was like the lingua franca at the tournament, because even though it was in Brazil, there were so many countries surrounding Brazil that were Spanish speaking, of course. And they had many representatives in the tournament. So most people were speaking Spanish, and everybody was just like laughing all the time. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, I have to understand what's so funny.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even funny. We just laugh at random things all the time, and we are also very loud people.
And so that was an amazing experience. And I also like tried to learn Spanish by listening to like Latin music, because, you know, learning language through music is, I think, incredibly efficient, right?
It is.
So that was really inspiring to me. And more than anything, it told me to continue playing chess, because it was a way to network with people all over the world and to open my eyes to new possibilities.
Yeah, it makes sense. Speaking about chess, you were one of the consultants for the Queens Gambit, right?
No, I wasn't, but I did. You know, I wasn't a consultant for them. Gary Kasparov and Bruce Pandolfini were. Okay. I did some promotional events for them after. Well, not even for them. They helped me with some promotional events, like Gary Kasparov and Scott Frank. We all did an event together for girls in chess. That was amazing. And then Anya Taylor-Joy also sent some words of encouragement to the girls that I teach through chess.
Well,
so
that's great.
It was really nice. Yeah, they helped me with my initiatives to kind of bring more girls and women into the game of chess, which is also something I feel super strongly about in poker. I think that in both games, chess and poker, you can get so much out of it as a woman or as a girl for chess.
Most of the sports they're divided between men and women because of the physical differences that there are between men and women. But this is a mind game, so there's literally no difference between a man playing and a girl playing. Is that right?
Yeah, and both of them teach such great life skills. Like poker teaches really great life skills for women about risk, you know, taking risks, not being afraid, and the ability to do something for yourself, to focus, to improve your relationship with money, to examine it. And I think that some of those things are particularly important for women, because we know that, like, with risk tolerance, sometimes women have a higher bar, and that's sometimes good. A lot of times it's good, but I think poker teaches you the times where you need to tolerate more risk and get comfortable with your aggression, and that, you know, you're not being mean by making the right play. Poker will teach you that.
It's part of the game. Put on your poker face and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I want you to play my game. And since both games are, well, at least for now, predominantly male players, is there any message you want to send to girls all around that want to or already has been playing this kind of games?
Oh yeah, to keep going. And if you want to increase your chances of keep going, one thing I would focus on is relationships,
Mm,
building community and friendships within the game that you love, whether it be poker or chess, because that just makes everything easier. It makes traveling to tournaments easier. It makes training to get better easier because you have somebody to confer with. So
mm.
I think that would be a big piece of advice to women who are in poker and want to get more into it, that building relationships should be one of your goals because it'll help you with your other goals to become really good at the game.
Makes sense. And do you think that, well, the Queen's Gambit was a huge success and everybody loved it? And do you think because it had a female persona and a female protagonist, do you think that maybe attract more women to playing and attract a bigger audience to the game?
Oh yeah, it definitely did attract a bigger audience to chess. A lot of women and girls are learning chess that weren't as interested in it before, and I think it helps with their confidence too, because it's
Hmm.
this image of a female who's completely empowered by her own brilliance and doesn't need a man to feel that. And so, yeah, I think it's really wonderful for that.
Good. Well, nowadays we're currently living a very long pandemic, so I'm assuming you were playing a lot more online poker and online chess, right? Do you feel there's a very big difference between playing online and playing with a real board or a real table? What do you think is the biggest difference between those two?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of differences. And I think there's, you know, great things about playing online and great things about playing live. The biggest difference is that when you play online on pokerstars.net, it's very efficient. You can play
Hmm.
if you're a busy mom, you can play at night, you can play all sorts of different events, you can play for any buy-in, even free rolls, right? Whereas in um, live events, it takes more logistics and planning, but then of course it's more social. So the potential impact is very high because you can have these memories for life, which you can get online as well. You can definitely get them
Sure.
online as well. But when you do the live event, it's that like overlap between your own life and the game.
Makes sense. And well, you're a poker player and a chess player. You're an ambassador for Poker Stars. Nowadays, these are all considered official sports, right? These are sports of the game, they're electronic sports and everything. Have you ever considered playing any other game? I don't know, League of Legends or Counter Strike or Dota or some of the more strategic ones like Teamfight Tactics or one of those card games like Hearthstone or Runeterra or Magic the Gathering? Have you ever considered playing any one of these?
I haven't considered it that much just because I am so passionate about chess and poker. And
Mhm.
there's so many things I want to do within those games. And then even in poker, there are all sorts of different games, right? Like mixed games, PLO, beyond just no limit hold'em. So that said, if I had like unlimited time, a lot of them seem awesome. I'm really compelled by the social deduction games. I do play like an online version of Mafia, and I've played some Among Us. And I also think Hearthstone seems really cool. But I haven't done like, I don't think I'm going to be doing like a deep dive.
Okay,
Uh,
no, sure.
Scrabble, also Scrabble's a great game. I
It
am
is
fascinated by Scrabble as well.
very hard to. One of the things that I love about poker and chess is I was actually talking to my friend the other day. They're both very simple games in a way that it's easy to learn how to play, but there's a very long learning curve. When okay, you can learn how to play poker in 5 minutes. Okay, this is what the cards do. This is a royal flush. This is blah, 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 blah. But there's a huge gap between learning the game and actually learning how to play the game.
Totally agree. I think simplicity in games is incredibly important for standing the test of time.
Mhm.
And I believe that that's true with chess and poker. And when you play chess or poker, you also attach yourself to the history and culture of these games, which can't be approximated by a brand new game in the same way. Of course, a brand new game brings other strengths to it. But I think that that's something that poker and chess have, that they're part of the culture. It's an international culture, an international network. that hasn't just been around for 5 years. In chess's case, it's been around in its current form for centuries. 500 years. And yeah, so I think that's really beautiful. And one time with Poker Stars, we had a competition for the Poker Stars Players Championship, and there was a contest to see who made the best game that combined chess and elements of chance. And it was quite interesting. We had many applicants from all over the world. And the best applicants were games that were relatively simple. A lot of people tried to do things that were overly complex. Like they had like lists of rules. Those ones usually did not do as well, because poker and chess are already at a good level of complexity. That's why they're so popular. So if you just take them and try to combine them and make it more complex, that's not quite right. Yeah. And the winners was quite good. It was a good kind of simple combination.
Do you ever stream your games like on Twitch or when you're playing casually? Not only like tournaments, but like you playing with yourself or just casually training. Do you ever stream your content?
Sometimes. I have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Jen Shahade. And yeah, yesterday I was streaming actually, just doing some chess stuff. But I also have 2 podcasts. One of them is about poker. It's called The Poker Grid. So I do put out a lot of content.
And so what's next for you now? What are your big plans for now? Do you have any big tournament coming up?
Oh, wow. I'm so excited. I've got a lot of things coming up. Poker Stars PA, there's tournaments there all the time, every Sunday. So, big ones on their Sundays. And then in terms of chess, there's a lot of exciting girls and women's initiatives that I'm involved in. There's a tournament in April 17th that I'm hosting for girls and women on Chess Kid. And I'm really excited about all the different initiatives that PokerStars.net is doing to get more girls and women into the game. It is Women's Month. Yesterday was International Women's Day. And I think that it's a really important time to reflect upon how we can do even better to welcome women into the game.
Good. There's always room for improvement and bringing more equality and bringing more of everyone to play. So is there any final message you want to say to everyone who's watching us?
Well, I'd like to say that, it's really, even though I was only in Brazil once, sadly, I know I should have been there more times. It was a really formative experience in my life. And, the passion that Brazilians have for life, it really changed my entire life, I think. It changed my approach. I mentioned how the music and the laughter and the dancing, even though I never got that good at dancing or Spanish, I did get better than I would have if I didn't go to Brazil. But more importantly, that you can approach anything in life like that. Chess, poker, your relationships, that passion can be devoted to anything, not just to like music and dancing. And I think that I really got on that path because of my trip to Brazil. So, obrigado.
Yeah, that was very good. That's very good. Bom, gente, essa aqui foi a nossa entrevista com a Jennifer. Ela é uma jogadora profissional de pôquer e de xadrez. Ela é embaixadora do Poker Stars Brasil. Como vocês viram, tem várias iniciativas bacanas. Todos os links estão aqui embaixo. E até a próxima entrevista. Tchau!